When people talk about making a man pursue you, they typically focus on outdated rules, playing games, or using manipulation tactics. But here's the reality. What truly makes a man chase you with uncontrollable desire isn't about these surface-level strategies. It's about understanding the deep psychology behind masculine pursuit and how certain behaviors trigger his instinctive drive to chase what he truly values. Think about it. The most powerful form of pursuit doesn't come from manipulating someone's feelings or pretending to be unavailable. It comes from activating something primal within him, the desire to earn and win something he perceives as genuinely valuable. Men don't become obsessed with chasing what's always available or what's completely out of reach. They become obsessed with pursuing what they see as high value and attainable with the right effort. That's what creates true uncontrollable pursuit. Not your unavailability, not your games, but the emotional experience you create that speaks to his deepest psychological needs. A woman who triggers this kind of pursuit isn't one who's constantly playing hard to get or using jealousy tactics. She's someone who understands the forbidden attraction secret that makes her stand out from every other woman he meets. When a man experiences this forbidden attraction secret, something fundamentally shifts in how he sees you. You transform from just someone he's dating or talking to into the prize he's determined to win, the challenge he can't resist pursuing, the one woman who stands apart from everyone else in his life. You become the emotional experience he craves, the connection he can't stop thinking about. But here's what's absolutely critical. This isn't about manipulation or becoming someone you're not. It's not about playing mind games or following some arbitrary set of rules. It's about understanding the psychology of authentic attraction and using that knowledge to communicate your true value in a way that activates his natural pursuit instinct. Some of you might be thinking, but shouldn't I just be myself and let things happen naturally? Absolutely. Authenticity is essential in any meaningful connection. But there's a profound difference between being authentic and being strategic with your authenticity. It's like the difference between having all the ingredients for a gourmet meal, but throwing them together randomly versus following a recipe that brings out the best flavor. Both use the same authentic ingredients, but one creates a much more powerful impact. When you communicate with intention, you're not performing or pretending to be someone else. You're simply presenting your authentic self in a way that speaks directly to his psychological needs for pursuit and conquest. You're creating genuine moments of connection that tap into his deepest emotional drivers, needs he might not even realize he has until you activate them. What makes these three forbidden attraction secrets so powerful is that they create the perfect balance between connection and challenge, the sweet spot where pursuit thrives. Because the truth is, we don't chase what feels unattainable, and we don't chase what requires no effort. We pursue what feels valuable and worth the effort. And when you understand how to position yourself in that sweet spot, that's when uncontrollable pursuit begins. Let's talk about the first forbidden attraction secret that creates uncontrollable pursuit. This is what I call the value confirmation paradox. And it sounds something like this. I appreciate how persistent you've been, and it's made me notice you in a way I didn't expect. Most women make the critical mistake of falling into one of two extremes when a man shows interest. Either they show too much appreciation for his attention, which removes all challenge and mystery, or they show none at all, which discourages him completely. Both extremes kill the chase before it even begins. So what makes the value confirmation paradox so powerful is that it walks the perfect line between these extremes. You're acknowledging his effort, which men rarely get recognition for, while simultaneously maintaining your position as the prize. You're not chasing or rejecting, you're confirming his value while reinforcing your own. Let me share a real example. I was coaching a woman named Jessica who was frustrated with a pattern she couldn't seem to break. She was dating a man who would pursue her intensely for a few days, then completely disappear for weeks, only to return with renewed interest, a cycle that left her feeling confused and undervalued. When we analyzed the pattern, I noticed something important. Whenever he made an effort, she would become immediately available, texting him constantly and rearranging her schedule to see him. I suggested she try something different. The next time he reached out after one of his disappearing acts, instead of eagerly accepting his invitation or coldly rejecting him, she should use the value confirmation paradox. When he finally called again after 2 weeks of silence and asked to see her that weekend, she took a breath and said, "I appreciate your persistence in reaching out. It shows character, and that's made me curious enough to say yes to dinner." His reaction? For the first time in their entire dating history, he not only showed up on time, but he also began pursuing her consistently without the disappearing act. 3 weeks later, he told her something revealing. I've never met someone who made me work so hard but felt so worth it. Within a month, he was introducing her to his friends and planning future dates weeks in advance. Why did this work when nothing else had? Because Jessica wasn't just validating something superficial. She was acknowledging a quality he had demonstrated, persistence, while simultaneously maintaining her standards. She wasn't chasing him or punishing him. She was seeing his effort and responding to it in a way that made him want to earn more of her positive recognition. That recognition creates a powerful emotional imprint. He starts thinking, she notices the effort I make, but she's not easy to win over. She's different, and that difference is exactly what triggers the pursuit instinct. The value confirmation paradox works because it speaks to a man's deep need to feel that his pursuit efforts are recognized, while also addressing his equally powerful desire to earn something valuable. This isn't about playing hard to get or being artificially unavailable. It's about genuinely recognizing the positive action he's taken while maintaining healthy standards for how you expect to be treated. When you acknowledge his effort rather than his appearance or status, you're connecting with something deeper, his actions and character, not just his surface attributes. The beauty of "I appreciate your persistence" or "I notice how thoughtful you've been" is that it communicates multiple messages at once. You're observant, you value effort over flash, and you're someone who doesn't automatically fall for just anyone. That combination is intoxicating for a man who's used to women either being completely uninterested or immediately available. The second forbidden attraction secret is what I call selective vulnerability. And it might surprise you, because it's not about being mysterious or closed off. It's about revealing yourself in a way that creates both connection and space. This secret sounds something like, I don't share this with many people, but I think you'd understand why personal revelation. Anyway, I should get going, but thanks for listening. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. That sounds too simple to create uncontrollable pursuit, but the psychology behind it is profound. Most people make the critical mistake of either revealing everything about themselves too quickly, leaving no mystery to discover, or being so guarded that no real connection forms. Both approaches prevent the kind of emotional tension that fuels pursuit. One of the biggest mistakes I see women make is oversharing on early dates, telling their entire life story, expressing every feeling and being constantly available through text. It comes from a good place. You're enjoying the connection and want to deepen it. But what you're actually doing is removing all the space where desire and curiosity can grow. This second secret is powerful because it does something counterintuitive. It creates genuine connection through vulnerability, then introduces a small element of scarcity that makes him value the connection even more. It leaves him wanting to know more about you, to experience more of that authentic connection. I worked with a client named Rachel who couldn't understand why men never pursued her after initial interest. When I asked about her dating pattern, I discovered she was an open book, telling her entire life story on the first date and texting constantly afterward, sometimes sending multiple messages before getting a response. She was creating connection, but removing all space for pursuit. I challenged her to practice selective vulnerability on her next date. She met a man she was genuinely interested in. And when the conversation turned to their passions, she shared a meaningful story about why she became a teacher, something personal that revealed her values. As the conversation deepened, instead of continuing to share more and more as she typically would, she checked her watch and warmly said, I've enjoyed sharing this with you. It's not something I talk about often. I should get going, but I'd love to continue this conversation another time. She called me the next day completely shocked. He had already texted her 3 times asking when he could see her again. Within 2 weeks, he was pursuing her more actively than anyone had before, planning thoughtful dates based on the few things she had shared about herself. 4 months later, they were in an exclusive relationship, and he later told her that it was that first date where he got a glimpse of her depth but was left wanting more that made him so intrigued. This approach works because it creates the perfect balance between connection and mystery. When you share something authentic but don't overshare, You become a puzzle he wants to solve completely. You're not playing games or being artificially mysterious. You're simply creating space for his curiosity to grow. And this is crucial. This isn't about pretending to be busy when you're not or cutting conversations short arbitrarily. That kind of manipulation is transparent and ultimately backfires. This is about genuinely having a full life that doesn't revolve around him, being present and engaged when you're together, but also comfortable with creating natural endings to interactions. When you use selective vulnerability, deliver it warmly with genuine appreciation for the conversation. Make eye contact, smile, and express real interest in continuing the connection another time. This creates that magnetic pull that makes him lean in rather than take you for granted. The beauty of this approach is that it communicates multiple messages at once. You value quality over quantity, you're discerning about who you open up to, and you have boundaries around your time and energy. That combination creates a powerfully attractive dynamic that triggers his pursuit instinct in a way that constant availability never will. Now, let's talk about the third and most powerful forbidden attraction secret. This is what I call the confidence trigger, and it addresses one of a man's core desires to be respected and admired, particularly by a woman he perceives as high value herself. This secret sounds something like, "That decision you made took real courage. I respect that about you." This secret works on such a profound level because it speaks to a man's deepest emotional need, the need to be seen as capable, respected, and worthy by someone whose opinion matters. But there's a critical distinction here between flattery and true recognition. Flattery is saying, "You're so brave," to everything he does. Recognition is specifically acknowledging a quality that requires genuine strength of character and doing so as an equal, not as an admirer. I remember working with a woman named Alicia who was dating a man who seemed interested but wouldn't commit to pursuing her seriously. They'd been dating casually for nearly 3 months, but he was still keeping things surface level despite her growing feelings for him. She was constantly complimenting his looks, his car, his job, all external attributes that only seemed to make him more casual about their relationship. During our session, I discovered something important. He had recently made a difficult career decision that meant taking a significant pay cut to do more meaningful work. This wasn't something he discussed often because most people in his life had questioned his choice. This was a perfect opportunity for the confidence trigger. The next time they met, when he briefly mentioned something about his new position, instead of just saying, "That's nice," or changing the subject, she paused, looked him in the eyes, and simply said, "You know, choosing purpose over security takes real integrity. I genuinely respect that about you." She told me his entire demeanor changed in that moment. For the first time, he put his phone away completely and began asking questions about her values and what she thought about various topics, things he'd never shown interest in before. Within a month, he was introducing her as his girlfriend and planning their future together. 6 months later, he told her that no one had ever seen that part of him before. And it was the moment he knew she was different from anyone he'd dated. What makes this phrase so powerful is that it's not something he hears often. Men are typically praised for what they achieve, what they provide, how they look, external measures of worth. But when you recognize something deeper about who they are, something that speaks to their character and values, it creates a connection that feels irreplaceable. Now, this phrase must be delivered with absolute authenticity. Don't say it if you don't truly mean it. The power lies in its truth. When you genuinely respect something about a man and you express that specific respect, it creates a moment of connection that goes beyond the physical or intellectual. It touches something essential in him. And when a man feels that his character, his choices, his values are truly seen and respected by a woman he's attracted to, it creates a unique form of tension. He now needs to continue earning that genuine respect, which drives pursuit in a way that no amount of physical attraction alone could achieve. That's rare, that's powerful, and it makes him want to be that man for you, not just in that moment, but consistently. Unlike the passive admiration he might receive from others, your specific recognition of his character makes him feel understood on a deeper level. The statement, "That decision took real courage," or "I respect how you handled that situation," isn't just a compliment, it's confirmation that you see beneath the surface to who he truly is or aspires to be. This creates a powerful emotional imprint because it's addressing something most men crave but rarely receive: recognition of their inner qualities rather than just their external achievements. He starts thinking, she sees me, the real me, in a way no one else does. And that recognition becomes something he wants to keep earning, which fuels his desire to pursue you. Now that you know these 3 forbidden attraction secrets, let's talk about how to use them effectively, because timing and delivery are everything. The most powerful words said at the wrong moment or with the wrong intention lose their impact completely. First, understand that these secrets aren't lines to memorize and deliver on cue. They're templates, frameworks for expressing genuine thoughts in a way that activates his pursuit instinct. The exact words matter less than the sentiment behind them and the moment you choose to share them. This is where the use with caution part comes in. Many women hear techniques like these and immediately try to use them all at once, as if they're casting a spell. But attraction doesn't work that way. It's a natural process that requires authenticity and proper timing. So here's my first caution. Never use these phrases if you don't genuinely feel them. Men have an incredible radar for inauthenticity. If you say you respect his courage when you actually don't, not only will it fail to trigger pursuit, it will damage trust. These secrets work precisely because they come from a place of truth. Second, understand the power of scarcity. If you use these techniques constantly, they lose their impact. Think about it. If someone compliments you on the same thing every single day, eventually it starts to feel automatic, even if they mean it. But if someone who rarely gives compliments suddenly recognizes something meaningful about you, it stays with you for days, even weeks. I worked with a client who made the mistake of turning the selective vulnerability approach into her standard routine, sharing something personal and then leaving every single time she saw the man she was dating. By the 3rd time, he actually called her out, asking if she had somewhere better to be after every conversation. That's not what we want. These techniques should feel spontaneous, genuine, and rare. Timing is crucial. The value confirmation paradox works best when he's actually making an effort to pursue you, acknowledging something that's genuinely happening. If he's been consistent in reaching out or has shown real persistence in getting to know you, that's when you say, I appreciate your persistence in reaching out. It shows character. The immediacy connects the recognition to the specific behavior, reinforcing it. The selective vulnerability approach should happen in a moment of genuine connection, not forced into conversation. Wait for a topic that naturally allows you to share something meaningful, then create the contrast of connection followed by space. If the conversation isn't flowing toward depth naturally, don't try to manufacture it. And the confidence trigger must be used when he's demonstrated something truly worthy of respect, not as a generic compliment. If he shows integrity in a difficult situation, courage in making a tough choice, or wisdom in how he handles the problem, that's when you acknowledge the specific quality you genuinely respect. There's something else I want you to understand about these techniques. They're not just about making him chase you. They're also about filtering for the right kind of man. When you use these secrets, you're not only triggering pursuit, you're also seeing how he responds to healthy dynamics. A man who's only interested in conquest won't respond well to the value confirmation paradox. He'll move on to easier targets. A man who isn't capable of emotional depth won't appreciate your selective vulnerability. And a man without integrity won't earn your genuine respect. These techniques don't just attract pursuit. They attract the right kind of pursuit from men who are capable of meaningful connection. And that's the ultimate goal, not just to make any man chase you, but to create such a powerful dynamic with the right man that pursuit becomes inevitable. Because uncontrollable pursuit isn't about manipulation or games. It's about creating an authentic connection that feels so valuable, he can't imagine not pursuing it further. Because there's something deeper I want you to understand about these forbidden attraction secrets. They're not just about making him chase you. They're about creating the kind of authentic dynamic where pursuit happens naturally, because both people are showing up as their best, most authentic selves. Think about the relationships in your life that have meant the most to you. They weren't the ones where everything was perfect all the time. They weren't the ones based on manipulation or game playing. They were the ones where you felt truly seen, where there was mutual respect and desire, where the pursuit felt natural rather than forced. That's what these secrets help create, not just temporary pursuit, but meaningful connection. And that's why I want to emphasize this important point. These techniques are powerful tools, but they're not substitutes for genuine compatibility. If you're using them with someone who doesn't share your values, who doesn't treat you with respect, who isn't emotionally available, no technique in the world will create a healthy dynamic. Use these secrets with someone who's already showing interest, who's already demonstrating the qualities you value. That's when they become truly transformative, when they enhance what's already there rather than trying to create something from nothing. Remember that while these techniques can trigger his pursuit instinct in powerful ways, what sustains that pursuit over time is consistency. It's not just about what you say in key moments, it's about who you are every day. It's about being a woman who values herself, who has genuine respect to offer, who can be vulnerable without losing her center. A man doesn't chase uncontrollably because of techniques alone. He chases the woman behind those techniques, someone who understands him, respects herself, and creates an experience unlike anyone else in his life. That's not manipulation, that's authentic attraction at its most powerful. And remember that while these secrets create powerful moments of connection that make him think about you constantly, they can shift how he sees you from someone he's dating to someone he can't imagine losing. They can tap into his emotional needs in a way that casual interaction never will. But their true power comes from the authenticity behind them. When you speak these words and truly mean them, when they come from a place of genuine connection rather than strategic calculation, that's when they become transformative. The woman who creates uncontrollable pursuit isn't trying to trap anyone. She's simply showing up authentically, respecting herself and him equally, and creating space for real connection to grow. That kind of communication doesn't just make a man chase you. It creates the kind of connection that both people crave, where you're not just wanted, but truly valued, not just desired, but genuinely seen and appreciated for who you are. And that's not just pursuit. That's not just obsession. That's something far more valuable, the foundation of a relationship where both people choose each other freely every single day, where pursuit isn't a game, but a natural expression of genuine desire, where the chase doesn't end with capture, but evolves into something deeper, mutual commitment based on true recognition of each other's value. Because ultimately, making him chase you uncontrollably isn't about control or power. It's about creating such a profound emotional experience that choosing you becomes the most natural thing in the world. Not because you've manipulated him into it, but because you've shown him what real connection feels like. And once someone experiences that kind of authentic connection, going back to superficial interaction becomes impossible. That's the real forbidden secret. Not just how to make him chase you, but how to create the kind of connection worth chasing. And that's something rare, something powerful, and something truly worth mastering.